Well, hello everyone. Welcome to my little corner of the internet. My name is Wyatt, and this is my YouTube channel where I just film and document my little creative adventures. I do a lot of sewing and quilting in particular. I don't want this intro to be very long, so I'm just gonna get right into it. I have started working on a quilt for one of my very dear friends of mine. Their name is Sophie. Sophie and I met years ago, like 6 years ago. I don't know. We met when we were training together in Pittsburgh, Pennsylvania, and we were dancing. And then we were roommates for a while, and we lived together, and we just have some very fond core memories, and they are someone that I really love. And by some miracle of the universe, we are back dancing together for the same ballet company, which is amazing. But I decided that I needed to make a quilt for Sophie. Now, Sophie loves strawberries. I would say that Sophie is a strawberry and I am an acorn, but that's a different story. So my idea for this quilt is just to make like a collage of different blocks that are either strawberry themed, or they'll make like a block that will make Sophie happy. So that's the whole idea behind this quilt. I didn't really have a pattern going into it, or, you know, like a concept. I just started making blocks, and then I came up with a pattern, and then, yeah, but you'll see all of that. This footage has been filmed over weeks and weeks and weeks, just whenever I have a chance to work on the strawberry quilt and film it. So I will have you go watch all that footage, and then we will come back here and talk a little bit more. But anyway, enjoy. Hey everyone, this is voiceover Wyatt. Fair warning, I am considerably more awkward than regular Wyatt, but I promise you will survive. So the first block I wanted to make for Sophie's quilt was some sort of strawberry basket. And there are lots of different basket patterns out there that you can find, but I wanted to try to make something that was my own and something that was unique and something I hadn't ever seen before. So I decided I was going to start by making mini log cabin blocks with little 1-inch pieces. These yellow ones are supposed to represent like the strawberry seeds, which I thought was kind of cute. And in total, I have to make 6 log cabin blocks. So I cut out my yellow, and then I'm just doing the same thing with my red. And I needed to make 3 log cabins that were half red and half green, and then 3 that were all red all the way around. In the top left right there, you can see that I started making my first round of red, and they're cute. They're tiny little pieces, and then I was just cutting out scraps of green. All of this was done with just my scraps that I had, so I didn't have to buy anything, which was super nice. Then here I just lay them out how I thought they would be cute. Now, because these are laid out on point or on the diagonal, I will have to make little half blocks that fill in the corners at the top and help give it the basket shape. Right here, I thought I was being clever, and I was cutting a square into quarters so that there wouldn't be any bias edges when I was sewing it together, but that idea didn't really end up working or matter at all, so it was sort of a waste of time, but you'll see. It was fun. It was an experiment. And that's the thing with these improv blocks, is you really don't know how it's going to go because you don't have a pattern and you're just, winging it. But you can see, from here, you can barely see that center square that I cut, that little triangle. And then every round and strip that you cut off is on the bias. So it didn't really matter that I was trying to have no bias edges because every edge is a bias edge. But it still worked regardless, and I didn't have any issues with it. Now, I will show you here that I sewed it all together, but unfortunately, I made a little mistake. I thought I was being so smart, and I didn't even notice it until I laid it out and was looking at it. but right there, that green is facing the wrong way. So I had to go ahead and unpick that seam and fix it. And then next, I used some heat and bond and traced some different shapes, and then I just cut them out. I cut out some strawberries, some leaves, some stems, and a little flower, just all different shapes and stuff that I thought would be cute to lay out. And I wasn't quite sure how I was going to lay them out. I did have some inspiration from Pinterest and some different ideas, and I kind of chose this little circle motif above the basket, which I thought was really unique and different. Well, it has been several weeks since I've had the opportunity to work on this little strawberry basket that I've been making for Sophie's quilt. I did have a chance to get the zigzag done around all of the applique, and I left it whole because once I cut it on the diagonal, it'll be on the bias, and I didn't want the bias edge to be cut when I'm putting it through the machine to do all the zigzag, so I left it square so that nothing would get distorted while I was doing the zigzag. So now I'm just going to cut it in half and sew it to the other half and start working on my little basket. That looks good. I'm just lining it up corner to corner. Now I'm going to cut. Okay, once I've got it all lined up, I'm going to use those sewing clips to help hold it together as it goes through the machine. And then I'll just let the machine do all of the work and pull it through, and I won't stretch it at all while it goes through. Awesome, I think that worked. And remember, for this I have no pattern, so I've just been making this up as I go, but here it is, sewn together. I'm going to take it over to the machine and give it a, not the machine, I'm going to take it over to the iron and give it a press, but very, very, very carefully so that it doesn't distort or move since it's on the bias. But I'm going to do that and I'll be right back. Okay, so now I need to add my pieces for the bottom of the basket, and then the two side pieces which will have the handles on them. But I'm gonna get this laid out so that I know everything's right. And then these are longer than I need them. I need to trim them down. I still need to attach the basket handles. I need to do the zigzag, and it has the fusible on the back. I just need to iron it on and do the zigzag around, but I'm going to wait on this for a second. I made them bigger than what I had originally made weeks ago. When I got this back out and saw it, they were just too tiny, two little itty-bitty handles, so I made them quite thicker than what I had originally done. But I'm going to start by sewing these together, these two half square triangles. Sorry. One half square triangle and one plain square. We're going to sew that together. My goodness, that was hard to say. I'm going to hook on this next, this side piece. And then what I'm going to do is I'm going to roughly trim it down, but leave myself extra so that I can trim at the end. Okay, I'm also going to cut this one longer than I need it. I'm going to line it up here. And then reach through there and cut this. Cool. Yes, when they're improv blocks like this, I think it's easier to just cut it bigger than you need and then trim it down, so that you know you have enough. So you can see I've left a little bit of space there for the 1/4 inch seam allowance once I sew this. I'm just kind of trying to get these placed where I want them. And I think it looks kind of cute. So I'm going to go ahead and get these ironed in place. I got the zigzag done around my little basket handles. I didn't have brown, so I just used green, but when you're far away, you can't even tell. And I think it's cute. So I'm going to start sewing this together. I'm going to start with doing this to this, and then I'll add this on here. But I have extra over here, so I just need to make sure that this edge lines up when I sew this piece on. I was just talking at the camera for so long and trimmed up my edges and realized I never hit the record button. Anyway, this is done. I think it's adorable. It's cute. It's not perfect. What I was saying in the, when I did not hit record, what I was saying is that these edges here are kind of warped a little bit. I don't really care. I'm not too worried about it. When I get this two sides sewn on, when it's in the rest of the quilt, you won't even be able to tell, and I can fudge it a little bit. So anyway, this is my little sewing basket. I think it's adorable, so cute, so precious, and yeah, now we can move on to another block. After sewing this, I took a break, cooked myself some dinner, took my dog for a walk, and I also spent some time cutting out some fabric for my next blocks, plural, that I want to work on. Sophie and I have this really funny thing that we say to each other, and this goes like way back. I don't know, maybe like 2018, 2019, I don't know. It was when we were living together in Pennsylvania and we were training together at the same ballet school. We were living together and we started saying this funny thing to each other whenever we'd be like, I love you, or give each other like compliments or be like, girl, you're looking fine in that outfit. We'd always say no hetero after. It's much like, you know, like if two straight bros were like giving each other compliments and they're like, no homo, bro. So we say no hetero to each other. It's very funny. And so I want to spell out with quilt blocks. I want to say I love you, but no hetero to put on the quilt somewhere in this collage. So I'm just using the Spell with it, Moda. It's like the free patterns for all the alphabet letters from Moda, and I just got it off of the Fat Quarter Shop website. I will leave a link in the description box below in case you're interested, but I'm just using that to make these. So I cut out the I and the L and the O, which are like the first three letters, and so I'm going to try to get those done tonight before I go to bed. But anyway, no hetero. All right, I'm gonna chain piece them. Okay, I flew through those letters really fast. They were so S-E-W, easy to sew. Here is the L and the O. I already hooked those two together. And then here's the I. Really fast to sew. Honestly, the hardest part was cutting them out because there were so many like tedious pieces to cut. But anyway, lots more letters to go. I'm gonna call it a night. I don't know when my next update will be, but I will see you at some point. Alright, bye. Okay, so it has been a long while. Don't even know how long. But I did get the words done, so I got I. And then here's the love. Love. And then you. So they're cute. I think they turned out really nice. I will continue working on the other letters later, but what I want to do today is work on the center of the quilt. I came up with this funny, very basic, very simple sketch because I decided that even though most of this is improv and I'm just making this quilt up as I go, I need some kind of pattern or idea or guidance. So I came up with a little sketch, a little design, and in the very center is like I want to be a big kind of like medallion, or like just a big strawberry for Sophie's quilt. And so today I want to work on this strawberry. Now over on Pinterest, love Pinterest, I found a like patchwork strawberry that I really like. So I'm going to try to create my own version of that. I think what I'll do is leave a link to my Pinterest board so that you can see kind of like all my inspiration that I've been taking in for this quilt. But yeah, so I've got everything cut out, or at least a good chunk of stuff cut out. I need to start sewing together this giant strawberry. It's going to have pinwheels, flying geese, 4 patches, half square triangles, just solid squares. It's going to be kind of like a just patchwork. And then hopefully it will be pretty big to be like a big center medallion or center motif to help the theme come across as the strawberry quilt. So anyway, that is what I'm going to do right now, and we'll see how far I get tonight. So let's do it. I finished making all my half blocks that go in the corners, and then I already sewed together the like little stem and leaves. I think it's so cute. So I'm gonna go ahead and sew these into rows, and then I'll end up sewing my rows together, and I'm gonna have a strawberry. I'll see you back here soon when it's all finished. Okay, I'm gonna be completely honest, your boy was exhausted last night, and so I did not finish the strawberry. But I do have all my squares sewn into rows, and my rows are ironed and ready to sew together. Which means today I can devote some of my time to getting this strawberry finished, and then once it's all finished, I'm probably going to stare at it for an absurd amount of time, trying to decide if it needs a border, and what kind of border to do on it. But yeah, so let's sew a strawberry. Here we go. My strawberry is ready for its reveal, but first, there's my dog Scout. Hey Scout, what's up? What's up, little dude? Anyway, here is the strawberry for the center of Sophie's quilt. I think it's so cute. Turned out better than I had even imagined. So many tiny pieces to sew together, but it was so worth it. So SEW worth it. Anyway, that's it for now. I'm not sure when I will film again, but I will film soon for another block in Sophie's quilt. And I'm just going to keep making a whole bunch of strawberry themed quilt blocks and other quilt blocks that I think Sophie would enjoy. And yeah, I'll see you soon. Bye for now. Welcome back. If you've made it this far, you surely deserve a gold star or a little pat on the back because you're one of the brave ones. I hope that you enjoyed and you did not just suffer through all of that content and you actually enjoyed it. But regardless, welcome back. Hope you enjoyed. I did end up making a few blocks off camera. So the first being this little like paper pieced flower. I'm not sure what I'm going to do with it yet. if you have any suggestions and you feel like leaving a comment, you could. We'll come back to this in a minute. I also made this paper-pieced strawberry butterfly, which I think is just so cute, and it has like the little antenna embroidered on it. Very, very cute. I think I might do the same with this little paper-pieced kind of flower. I might just put a square around it and just zigzag. I used a zigzag stitch around here with the machine, so I might just do the same thing with this little guy. And I kind of want to make a few more of these because I feel like they're a good like filler for different places in the collage. So I made these two, and then I also made this little strawberry, which is so cute. If you know who Mariah Elizabeth is, if you don't, go check her out. Love her stuff, but this is like inspired by one of her characters that she has on her channel, and Sophie and I watch Mariah Elizabeth together, so I thought it'd be cute to kind of like be inspired by Mariah and make this strawberry. So yes, that's all I have for now. Sorry it's not a whole finished quilt, but it's gonna take some time. We're busy rehearsing. We're working on excerpts from La Bayadere, and one of the company members is choreographing a 30-minute piece on us as well, so we've been busy and exhausted. Sometimes I just come home and I don't have the energy to sew or quilt. But I'm gonna keep working on this. I'll keep filming different blocks that I make here and there, and soon we're gonna have a whole finished strawberry themed quilt, which I think is gonna be so cute. If you have any block ideas or any strawberry themed things that you think I should make, go ahead and also leave those in the comments. And like I said, I don't remember, this footage has been filmed over weeks and I don't remember what I said, but I will create a Pinterest board and link it in the description box so you can like see what I've been inspired by, and some blocks that I've been kind of like following or trying to make my own version of it. So I'll definitely leave that. But anyway, bye for now, and I will see you soon. Happy quilting!